It doesn't matter whether big or small, or if you're rich or poor, friends, we cater for one and all. So all of them we're talking, they either drunk or they're steering mad, or maybe they forgetting Mr. Universe belongs to Trinidad. And yet we have men of talent and skill, with high hopes of improving still. And if you think all this is a lie, the mighty sniper won't tell you why. Now our steel bands is the best talent in this world. By calypsos our stories are told, which is written to touch your soul. So Trinidad, this lovely land of my book, small but overwhelming in worth. And as you know, Carnival is the greatest frolic on earth. I can't understand why some people just talk it bad. But I know all of them we running them out. Don't know where they're talking about. They would paint your black every day, and the right things they would never say. Like our sportsmen being rated among the best. Our scholars have sit and passed every test and put us right alongside the rest. But then our pitch lake is the greatest one of its kind. Our sugar and oil is really refined. So you see, friends, this is a real thing, Solomon's mind. They just talk some nonsense. Me ain't know where they're doing it for. About so much violence, man, you would swear that we fighting war. Of course, we have we delinquents to face, but just like any other place, look, things that I say about here is really too much for me to bear, because my people are daily making progress without any form of stupidness, and in this way we must gain success. For when we move in, we all move as one body, no bickering between you and me. For our policy stands for racial equality. Now when a stranger spending a little time in this lovely isle, every day you see him, he always have a hearty smile. And when his time is up to depart, he would say with pride in heart, I'll be back, you could bet your life. And if I can't come, I will send my wife, and then he'll tell you he really wants her to come to drink some rum and have plenty fun.
Ah, yes, indeed. Of course, a pleasant good night to all and sundry, east, west, north, south, central in Trinidad, our friends in Tobago, and wherever you are, streaming on the World Wide Web, a pleasant good day to you. This is, yes, the corridor transformation. What day today is? The 28th, I believe it is, or the 29th? Let me make sure. Yes, the 28th day of May, 2026. And I can tell you, what we have is a population that is so sensitive and so sensitized that it has now become mobilized. Let me repeat. We have a population that is so sensitive and so sensitized that it has become mobilized. Yes, indeed. And tonight, of course, we will focus on some of that mobility consequential of the the sensitization and the sensitivity that the population has been experiencing. After all, you're talking about an existential state of emergency coming out of one before that, and the potential probably for another one if the present administration would have had their way and not being satisfied with the level of curbing of the brutality and the barbaric and the most heinous crimes that one could ever contemplate, and of course focused on toddlers And then women in recent times, very, very recent times, I'm talking about days ago. That is not what we see ourselves as moving forward, as a people, as a society, as one aspect, or should I say one element of humanity. That cannot continue. And so what we have, apart from, I have, of course, over the last several days, showed where MLIO, and therefore East Port of Spain, Laventil, Beetham, Silats, etc., have demonstrated and are demonstrating again its commitment and dedication to what I consider to be civilized development, participatory initiatives that will quell and reduce and extinguish the morass and the evil that is Trinidad and Tobago today in general. Let's go to the lines one time. Let me make sure that the line is connected properly. Professor, good night. Are you hearing me loud and clear? Yes, pleasant good night to you as well, my friend. Tell me. Well, you know, as could be in this circumstance, I'm very optimistic. I'm upbeat. Today I had a very important encounter, I should say, with a group called, look on the screen there, Social Workers for Christ. Yeah, and they're having some open air, street by street crusade kind of program in order to treat with the socio-economic problems of the country. Yeah, they did in fact do what they had to do on advice. Yes.
All right. I want to ask you something.
Go ahead.
Is there a rate this current government performance between 1 to 10? What are you agree?
Well, in this circumstance, I would take away 2 from the 10, so therefore you remain with 8. Yeah. Having regard, and let me tell you why. 1, it's only a year. 2, the challenges that I know that they would have had to address, economic, social. Remember, they inherited this crime situation. This is not their doing. The last administration had multiple record breaking, and if you want to limit crime to murders, well, of course, the records have gone through the roof. Nobody could have that kind of record. So I am satisfied. It's only now that they are in opposition, they are pretending that never occurred, and that what is happening now is not as a consequence of a continuum that they left, and somehow the country started to function from April 28, 2025. Yeah. 5. Okay, go ahead. Half. No problem. Yeah, go ahead. No problem. I would love to know why you say 5. That will be 3 down from my. Go ahead.
The government is the legislative body. Then the parliament is amended, right?
Mm.
And bring us to legislation, right?
Mm.
With the Juman incident, the police killing the Juman incident,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I mentioned that one because that one was highlighted by the TV camera. And the incident was took place in St. recently. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Why the powers that be cannot put things in place to deal with the road, police and
All right. Okay. I hear you. Yeah. Okay. I hear you. Not that I hear you, not that I agree with you, but I hear you. Right.
It come like, yeah, what is going? Like, you're pouring tractor wash butter. Time and time again. Look the incident. Let me go back all the way back to when the it had the incident with the pyramid scheme in Laos. I forget what they call this thing, boy. The investment thing they had up there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And they literally showing police toughen money in the uniform from the place, and nothing never come out of that. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So here the question I want to ask you now. The last program when we had the discussion, I remember you told me tell the viewer that he is part or a member of the Amnesty International.
Yes.
Right. If it is, all right, who could signal the Amnesty International about something taking place in the country? The average citizen could do that?
Yeah, they can.
Or you have to be a member of the institution to do that?
No, you don't have to be a member. You can, and there are certain what I consider to be arms or branches across the world. But an individual can write to the headquarters in the UK.
That legal for a citizen to do that down here because they say treason, isn't it?
No. Well, first and foremost, nobody gonna know if you're right. Right? I don't think you can tell the world. Secondly,
okay. No, I want to know.
Yeah. So that's
all right.
Not...
So if it is individual or certain country where a conflict or a civil arrest going on, whatever it is, right? Human rights violation, right? And a whistleblower indicate Amnesty International, hey, see if I can look into this. What Amnesty International can do? What input they can make to change the situation?
They can highlight it because of the international recognition and reputation that they would have had. They can, of course, they have persuasive and, should I say, embarrassing ability function. You see? Embarrassing ability function. Yeah, that's what they have. That they can't come in the country and hold anybody, as the case may be, but they can express their concern in various fora like the United Nations, etc.
And that's why the country does not think. No, I'm not a perfect person, but I'm not law-abiding citizen. But let me tell you something. The police and them right now, they have no tolerance, limited tolerance, arrogance, hatred, bitterness. Watch me, I tell you, it's 7,000 plus killers they have in it. I don't want to see it, but right now it's a recipe for disaster with these people at the minute. It's only a matter of time. God forbid, it's only a matter of time. Them criminals go to the pick them out when they finish a shift and they're going home tired and they're sleepy. Men go to the challenge them just now. Let them continue. Let them continue to advantage people and work like wickedness, man. I look on listening.
Thank you very much. Well, at the end of the day, there are instances where, whether you call it poetic justice or you call it karma, as the Hindus would, the fact of the matter is that there has been instances where these types of advantage would have been ventilated where it mattered, including, of course, the local courts. And we have seen where people have been held accountable and culpable and would have been, of course, sentenced under the criminal law. And, of course, in other instances, you would have had the civil law where false arrest, etc., and even in the prison, and even in an existential, very high-profile case, like the Coleman case, I think it's the 20 or so individuals that were charged collectively for that particular murder. They were able, while they were in prison, to convince the judiciary, the courts, that they were abused. And now, of course, I think each one of them getting $1 million thereabout, because there was some flip-flopping or some ineffective prosecution by the state. But go ahead. A pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Hello, good night to the corridor from Mr. Lennox and all the viewers who look to understand.
Yeah, man.
The most happy Indian arrival to East Indian brothers and sisters who look to celebrate sometime weekend, yeah.
All right.
So the wifey looking to Babylon roti, so let's curry. But we are say for the East Indians and them, we come on the Rata, we ship wherever they come on. They come on, they work real hard in this country. They do that to do Lennox. Right now they are part of the 1% and them. You know that?
Some of them, as well as Africans, as well as Syrians, as well as our local whites.
Yeah. But they really look at Africans is at 1% too?
Yeah, you have them in there. You have them in there as well. You see, 1% is not relegated to a specific race. Is a kind of a grouping that parasite on the government and get unfair and too much of the country's resources because of a government facilitation. Yeah. And here, of course, we talk about the PNM.
So, Lennox, let's say, I think cleaning program, what a wonderful job you're doing there. Man.
Thank you very much.
Love and manners and respect, yeah.
Yeah, okay then, but yes, indeed. Well, of course, happy Indian Arrival Day to all of Trinidad and Tobago, because, of course, just as the abolition of slavery, Emancipation Day, we see all races in Trinidad and Tobago having had some experience, whether it be as a consequence of the Fatal Razak in 1845, when it came with the first shipment of Indian indentured laborers, or whether it's Africans coming in. The fact is that all of us, our ancestors, or those who predated us, they were subjected to very harsh conditions to bring Trinidad and Tobago to a level where we can enjoy, but we are saying that that enjoyment is relative, and it is relative to the fact that we can do more and ought to have been in a better place today. And that is the relativity I am referring to. But that being as it may, let me continue with my commendation to the social workers for Christ. I want to say that on the 12th of June next month, they will be having their inaugural, what I consider to be open air, street by street crusade, highlighting, of course, not just the spiritual awakening that is required in Trinidad and Tobago today, because it adds to the moral and ethical, what I consider to be matrix, the ecology, because there are other things besides prayer that has to go with it, because as the Bible would say, or as all of us would know, that prayer without works really is ineffective. So you have in prayer, which in itself is a action commendable. But if a fella cannot fill his belly, cannot put food on the table, has been displaced, lacks confidence, is depressed, believes that he has to gravitate to a life of crime, criminality, and gang warfare, you will understand how insignificant and how futile such actions will be, because one has to do with the intellect or the amorphous or the psychological part of the human being. But there are other parts that needs what? That needs nourishment, material nourishment. You need food. After all, every human being requires food, shelter, clothing, and these days entertainment to keep your sanity and to keep the meteoric pace of modern society in balance as you continue the journey through this life. So it's very important, and therefore the social workers for Christ today, right here in our resource center here, the MLIO Resource Center on George Street. I was the person who installed them because I was asked so to do by the chairperson of that organization. And I did so with not only a willing heart, but with a sense of commitment, a sense of understanding why it is that that level of sensitivity has now materialized into a pro-action to treat with the socio-economic and psycho-cultural realities of Trinidad and Tobago today. In fact, the first venture on the 12th of June next month will be held right at the corner of Prince and George Streets. So not just a stone's throw, if so much, from here. And of course, the resource center will be an active participant. It was a pleasure to provide our facility to them, both for the installation today, just a couple hours ago, as well as the provision of computers and material for typing and getting, of course, them ready administratively to further that cause by preparing proposals and all of that. Right here we did that, yes. And I made it available. No cost to them. And I think one of the members was surprised when I said that, listen, you want to get the internet connected? You want to get Wi-Fi? You want to get data? No problem. Just look on the side there. There is the actual domain and, of course, the password. And I told them proudly, look over the road and you will see the same sign for the computer, for the link itself, and for, of course, the password. And then I said it is a service to the community. And it is typical that you'll have guys on the pavement, guys and girls on the pavement, and sitting or standing or leaning, and of course doing what they would do because they have access to Wi-Fi free of charge, but the cost is upon us. So there is a cost, but it's free to them. But it's a service by us to them. Yeah, what I didn't tell them is that we just leave the gate open too. And we tell them, listen, you're going there and you take the computers and you take the screens and you take the chairs and you take the tables and you take the fan. Yes, we are getting air conditioned just now, or somebody has already committed themselves to that. But if you do that, it's yours. You'll be taken. You'll be stealing from yourself. And it has worked well. Some people say, but Smith, you're mad on George Street. But I want to tell them, and if somebody listening to this outside of George Street and they want to come in here because you just heard what I just said, that the place will be open, no, you will find no chain on the gates. As far as this facility is concerned. So I ain't inviting nothing. I'm just letting you know. And the people, the community knows that this is theirs, and they will defend it. And they will defend it. Not the first time I've done that. I've done that in Laventille and other places and so. Because I genuinely believe. Mind you, don't get naive and then you leave us, let's say, any one of the government schools around open. Please, don't take that. Don't take that basket. You will find it empty the next school day. It's only we can do that because we are of the community, for the community, and by the community. And that is why we can repose our confidence. And because they know that it is a symbiotic relationship where we exist for our mutual benefit. And because they can come and get a ball to go and play football and then get, of course, their home lesson due, and they could access a computer. They know they must defend that, protect that. That is what we are talking about. But let's get back to the social workers for Christ. I think it is commendable that the founding lady, again, Listra Penny on the move, a person with whom I've had a very long association and relationship. Professionally, of course, and as far as networking and advancing the cause of Laventille and East Port of Spain and so on. So I found it an honor to be part and parcel of this initiative. She is now, of course, a bishop in the Baptist faith. So the whole exercise is one of an ecumenical nature. You see the flyers next to the video there. Yes. Where the date and the occasion would have been inscribed. But the fact is that it is initiatives like these we want. The lines are open, incidentally, and I want to tell people, share, share, share. You know I don't normally do that, but I'm saying now share, share, share. I want to tell you as well to like, and view, and make your comments as well. A pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
A pleasant good night to each and every one.
Yes, ma'am.
On the live stream. Share and share. Use the right hand. Share 2 times with the 5 fingers. And use the left hand and share 10 times with the 2 hands. Welcome to each and every one. Uncle Lennox, a pleasant good night to you.
Pleasant good night to you as well. Yes, ma'am.
And that is the way. And congratulations. And may God give the group, the social workers for Christ. That is the inspiration, and that's what we need in that area. And I make a humble cry and a plead to all who is listening to this program tonight. You see, this program and that initiative for the 12th of June, if we could really come together and be our brothers keepers and look at the citizens and be a patriot of our country and put a little donation, me asking for nothing big, even a case of water to help that when they go outside, they can have some water to share or either to drink. Let me donate something so that they will have the courage to move forward because they'll need certain things to put out. Right? So let's make a little contribution. And if we want, we tell Uncle Lennox, write me a receipt so that
everything will be in order. So, knowing Uncle Lennox for how much years, since he had hair on his head, and now we're getting shorter, I know he's a man of integrity. And now he has been speaking for all this time. Last night I hit him some talk. He leave and he run, but tonight he bring the evidence to show me that, okay, we launching this and look, this coming up. So I'm glad he's a man of his word and he'd like to respond to me. And I wish that everybody who listened as a supporter, let me start up with Uncle Lennox and the social worker in Christ group, and let we go forward in Jesus' name in really making a difference in a place that way is stigmatized. Because in the journey of Jesus Christ, he went to places that where things like this exist. Abandonment, or unfairness. And then he sent his son Moses to take them away from Pharaoh. And yet still the people and them didn't want to come out. But this time now, these people want to come out from the PNM. They want betterment and they want to see the way forward. And Uncle Lennox is fighting tooth and nail. And not only verbally we must support. Now it's plain to say that we need a little financial support. Because the power that be want to see how far he can reach and then give him the support. But now to get the tree planted and to water it, to bring the fruit, let me give him a little something. So Uncle Lennox, my topic tonight is to tell you, you know, Marvin Gonzal and them, especially Marvin Gonzal, I hear he preaching verse and paragraph from the Bible about liars and untruth. That really remind me about Ravan, you know. That was a Hindu king, you know. He feel he was better than God, but he was one of the most loyalist and devoted worshipper to Krishna and the Shiv Bhagwan, you know. And because agreed, he tell himself he could do everything better. I just see it in Marvin Gonzalez. He preaching the gospel of the Holy Bible, and which them in the last 10 years lied to the supporters, tongues of lie, and sufferation and abomination to their own supporters. Because look what you're doing on this side. If they had served the people right equally through this land, especially the supporters who are faithful to them, your program would have seen trouble to eat air on the live stream. Uncle Lennox, did they really say, it have man with honor, I'd have man without honor, you know? And the one without honor worship Satan to get everything to say that they have power. God bless you, Uncle Lennox. And I hope I beg enough for people to come forward. And thank you for this contribution.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Very, very sagacious, I should say, and commendable, and morally uplifting. And I dare say, because there's a tinge of spirituality in it, so I say spiritually saturated. Yes, spiritually saturated. And I want, of course, it is not often that people live to enjoy the success of their efforts, especially in circumstances where people would have been very skeptical that the conditions may not have been perfect, and that some might have believed that it was precocious, meaning that an idea before its time, and therefore at that time when the idea was put forward, people would have decried, downgrade, disregard, disgrace, and all of the negativity that is associated with that kind of effort. But in one of the executive today acceptance address or speech of the portfolio that he had, I think is the PRO, he said words to the effect, and it resonated with me, that major things, and he believes in what is called the one, and major things occur because one person, one institution decided to do something. He, of course, didn't know that he was speaking my language, but I would say differently. I would say that like a mustard seed that blossoms into a huge, gigantic specimen of nature, inside of here, the brain, the thought, and to find ways to bring it to reality. So while, of course, he believes in the one, I believe in the one in that context, but of course, I've gone further or deeper or more microscopic to say that it would have occurred in the brain. So the person who would have initiated the social workers for Christ initiative, it would have had first to be in her brain, and I said her because it's Listra Penny. Pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Good night, sir. Good
night.
To all your listeners.
Yes, man.
This is San Fernando.
Hey, good night, San Fernando.
Yeah, I want to make my contribution on the protest that with the Justice Samuel issue.
Yes, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Just now you had a caller who asked about the law.
Yes.
Right. I believe, or I should say, rather, that I like the protesting, but I like to protest for the right reasons. What happened to Joshua Samuel is in my view, that is, I don't want to use the word evil, but that is too much force to use just to kill one or two people. 19 bullets fired, and stuff like that. But what I say, I like to protest. I don't want to protest for the wrong reason. Right? Because I was on a number of protests myself, including the one that was in Savannah where in the tear gas.
Yeah.
Right? So when I see reports of or interviews, there was an interview on TTT. I think it was TTT itself, or one of these media houses. They were interviewing a guy who was on the protest.
Mm-hmm.
And I should say that he said that he protesting for fame.
He protested for what?
For fame.
For change. Change?
No, for fame, not change.
Spell it. Where start with? For what?
Fame.
Fame. Oh, say, okay, good. Right,
Protesting for fame.
Yeah, for self-aggrandizement, self-projection. All right, good. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you're protesting for the wrong reason if you're doing that.
Yeah.
That's my take on it. You understand? I will protest for change. The pain, if the pain come, but I don't really like to protest for pain. That's not my bad. I am protesting for pain, not for pain, for change, and change throughout, right? The entire country, right? Because I have had friends whom the police run down and shoot up, and shoot and kill them too, right? And nothing really came out of it. Let me give you another instance of change that took place.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. You get a little static here. Yeah.
If you know that word?
Go ahead. I didn't hear you clearly. Go ahead.
Right.
What you said?
I don't know if you know the word.
Oh.
The link road to Gulf City.
The link road to yeah. I know it. Yes, I know it. Yes.
Right. To enter Gulf City. But let me tell you. Here, what is an instance of change? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Change goes like this. If you're protesting,
you're coming in and out, boy. You're coming in and out. All right. What's happening here?
see is this, right?
You're coming in and out,
That
eh?
link-
I'm not hearing you well.
But
Not hearing you well, boy. All right. We seem to.
there was
All right. We seem to have a line problem, boy. A communication problem. You're coming across static and intermittent. All right. So call back, caller from San Fernando. I don't know if it's on my side, but if it's on my side, well, we will know when you call back, when you try to call back. But of course, I think we need, some inspiration as well. And I had this tune to play in concert with the one that I started with, Portrait of Trinidad. We must love our country profusely. Let's go to King Austin's presentation that was, of course, very, very patriotic at that time, and still is. Progress. Progress, man.
Today, when I look around in the world, what do I see? I see footprints that man have left on the sand while walking through time. I see fruits of our ambition, figment of our imagination, and I ask myself, when will it end? When will it end? It is plain to see, universally this land is not bountiful as it was, simply because in his quest for success, nothing stands in man's way. All rivers run dry, soon the birds will fly, the mountains will be no longer high. And when I really think of it, I just wonder why, oh why. I see charity deplored, equal rights totally ignored, wisdom and ingenuity working in accord, simply to afford such inventions as thermonuclear warfare and environmental warfare. And I wonder now, where do we go from here? Prophets everywhere gaze upon the horizon and declare that judgment will come as the savage hands of unscrupulous men pile everything pass by. Time is running out as we eat and drink, species at the brink of being extinct. And I think no one can deny that the price of progress is high, real high.
Ah, yes indeed, yes indeed. I thought I should be reminding people and sending you down memory lane, nostalgic. We have to remember these fundamentals. And as we engage in this renaissance, as we engage in this renewal of commitment and dedication to solving the social and economic problems of the country, we must be reminded of what is possible.
Right in context, what shall be next? I've already seen this world have come divided between race, color, creed, and class. And some of the things the scripture predicts truthfully come to pass. Soil that wouldn't bear children, making children to be a part of this growing mass. And I ask, if this is progress, how long will it last?
Ah, yes indeed, yes indeed. What a wonderful reminder to keep us on the straight and narrow, to keep us on the prize. What is the prize? To have a peaceful, prosperous Trinidad and Tobago, and all can dwell here in harmony and without the consistent bombardment of having to look over our shoulders and living in a Russian roulette environment where anybody's turn to die can happen. Helter-skelter, higgledy-piggledy, anytime. Inadvertent. You don't have to make a contribution to your own debt. You might be as careful as what, but you may be in the wrong place at the wrong time. And next thing, of course, you meet your demise. I think it was the Prime Minister, Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisesa, who said that it makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense that you are working hard, and when you would have done that to enjoy, your life is snuffed out. I think that is fundamental and profound. Let's go to the line. A pleasant good night. Welcome back, my friend.
Are you hearing me loud and clear?
Loud and clear, my friend. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, good. Great. Yeah, we had a little static earlier.
Yeah, I don't know what caused that.
Okay.
But what I was saying, I was just talking about setting priorities right.
Yeah.
Right? Because the interview with this guy, I didn't get his name on TTT. I think the interview was on TTT. One of the protesters.
Okay.
He said that he was doing this for fame. Right?
Yeah.
And clearly you can see that is not a real road to go down. If you're looking at an issue like what happened to Joshua Samuel, if I am to protest, I would not protest just for Joshua Samuel, but I'm protesting for the entire country and to rid the police service of this corrupt practice. Right?
Yeah.
No, I went into the thing with using the Gulfview Link Road in. There was never in the 70s, 1970s, what was happening in San Fernando was there was a lot of traffic in the evening you're traveling like from here to from San Fernando to Laramie, right? If you start like in the evening, right? You're reaching Laramie, and then it's short, very short distance, eh? You're
Right.
reaching Laramie sometimes even 7 o'clock in the night.
Okay.
That's to tell you how bad the traffic was. So it was bottleneck, right?
Right.
But in order to solve the problem, right, the authorities didn't want to, like for some reason, it wasn't changing at all. And one individual went and sat down right by that, where the Gulf View Link Road is right now. He went and sat down like a guru in the road to get attention.
Right.
So it wasn't just fame, you know. He wanted change to happen. Right? So now we have the Gulf View Link Road. That's how that Gulf View Link Road came to the end. So, even with the Lincoln Myers issue, when Lincoln Myers had the protest up by the Hall of Fame, you remember that?
Yes. Yeah, he sat outside the Hall of Justice for days.
For days, right? So, and Lincoln Myers, was a person that I had admired because of his stance against a number of issues that was going on in the country at the time. You know? So you have to, you're not just doing it for fame. I don't protest for fame, even though I was one of the protesters in the savannah with you all. When that tear gas was thrown, I was there.
Great, yes.
Right? You know? And I even take that tear gas myself because when the first one dropped, and the first shot was fired, I think they fired about 3.
Yeah, boy.
3 or 4.
One fall right in front of me, boy, and I had to put something. Well, I looked for something wet, but couldn't be wet, so I had to take my shirt and cover my nose and run down the road because remember it's tear gas, so it affects your breathing.
Your nostrils and your eyes.
And your eyes, yes, that's right. Go ahead.
Yeah, it could burn your eye. That tear gas could burn your eyes.
Yeah.
Right? So what I'm saying is, right, we gotta be careful. Don't just go out there and just protest because you want fame. No, that's not it. I would think so.
Yeah. No, it must be a cause. It can't be fame. And even if as a result of pursuing the cause you get fame, but that's a different story. That is a legitimate
that's a different story.
outcome. Yeah. So, but to say that you went out there because you want fame, I think you're missing the point and missing the boat.
You're missing the point. Yeah. And a lot of people going out there because, and some people carrying it political, right? You know the PNM government, they don't care about you. But yet still, you're going outside there to protest for who? For PNM? No way. I can't see myself doing that because you know the PNM government, what it stands for and what the UNC stands for is 2 different things. That's my view on it, Mr. Smith.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm glad that you raised that because I want to read the response in today's Express of Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar to the protesters. Of course, prior to that, she did say that she is in support of the police, not directly connected to the protesters or for what they are protesting, because the claim is that the police will engage in excess force and that many of the parts of the story that would have come out from officialdom and from the DPP, which would have been the recipient of a report by the police on the investigation, does not add up. But of course, we know this is a democracy. The courts will have to make their input, and it is there we will get all of the facts. All of the facts. All of the facts. Some of which maybe, some of the asinine aspect of it, some of the ludicrous aspect of what we are seeing in the domain of public opinion may well transpire inside of the courtroom itself. And as I've told somebody, from what I have seen so far, and I'm not prejudging anything, but I see this as a field day for a defense lawyer, and that the prosecution will have some extreme difficulty in making their case, having regard to all of these circumstances. And of course, in due course, I will pronounce and disclose what I am talking about and why it is that I would have drawn that conclusion. But that being as it may, let me read the statement made by the Prime Minister as recorded in the Trinidad Express today. Kamala dismisses protesters. Victim gimmickry. Victim gimmickry. She describes the whole incident as. And let me say one time, the presence of David Abdullah, MSJ, and of course Eversley and all of them shows, of course, there is a political slant, a political coloring, a political flavor to the entire thing, and thus, of course, taints its credibility. And I too would have had no choice, if I was the Prime Minister, to respond in the way that I would have, unless they could keep it pure, like how we were able to do it during COVID. Then it would be very difficult for anybody to resist the political element that was certainly in the forefront of this exercise. But go ahead, my friend. Pleasant good night.
Good night, Lennox.
Good night to you.
I say we playing, and right now the PNM in a campaign mood. Might have Marvin Gonzalez and fire. You need busted Mark. You know our friend name Zambo? You know about that guy?
No, but I know you're going to tell me, so tell me.
Well, he was a friend of the minister's local government.
Local government?
Yeah, he was a friend. Yeah, he worked in sewage authorities.
All right.
And our players who play well, Mark Boston right now.
I'm sorry. Tonight is my final night for the week, but because tomorrow's Friday.
Truly, either man support the UNC, but me, in like all the other Prime Minister, stand up with the police service, because we have a problem with the police service, because we was already campaigning. Because everything about politics, we was campaigning already for the last 9 years, plus we get tear gas. People that the rights to protest, the voice must be heard. So you can't be going down and people who protest and all them kind of thing. Because everything is about politics, because the last government was doing it, now this government doing it now. But Lennox, politics, real trend.
Of course.
The nasty game. It's about friends and family. And they're forgetting the true warriors and the downtrodden and them. I have qualification. I want to work Wassa too. Because I want to eat our bread. I can paint stone and ray grass. I need to get awarded. Then I've been playing, bless.
I hear you, my friend. And just a comment on the caller's concern. Yes, in the politics that we practice, and it's not just here, you can't tell Trump to give a Democrat who opposes the Republican a serious work in his cabinet. You're inviting undermining and internal distraught and disintegration. So that's the principle. That's the Westminster system of government that we have inherited. Here is where we have to limit. Here is where we have to put a line, a mark of demarcation. Here is where we have to put a terminal stop, if you want to call it that. When you take all of your people, and besides the political offices, the members of your organization alone gets the benefit of the services that everybody should get, and you deliberately target those who you know with a party card, for example, and leave out everybody else. That is where it becomes not just wicked and evil, but extremely dangerous. So I want to repeat, I have no problem with a family member. Manning said the same thing. And it's not because Manning said it. It's because it's a fundamental principle. Only the people who you know and who are associated or connected with your party would best be able to execute your programs and policies and initiatives when you are in government. But it must be limited to political appointments, and there are many. But when that is exhausted, don't tell me that you're looking for people only with party card afterwards to give a food hamper, to give a contract, to give the benefits of other institutions such as the Ministry of Community Development in terms of construction of community centers, for example, or jobs that may become available for people to supervise or superintend or secure some of the assets that that particular ministry would be responsible for. You can't tell me that. I have a difficulty with that. And we saw that too often with the PNM. And let me give you a classic example. The 400 open scholarships that was offered over time, and what the PNM did with those 400 scholarships, I cannot be naive, and I cannot be fair to my own self if I cannot say tonight that it was an attempt, by reducing that by half, it was an attempt to give people connected to the PNM an unfair advantage over everybody else, because the open scholarship was that if it is that you're good, you're good, and if you come first, you have a place, second, and so on, because there is keen competition for those scholarships. But when you take it, half of it, and you put it in the Ministry of, I think it was Community Development then, who was responsible for that under the PNM? Donna Cox was responsible for social development, and I can't remember who was responsible for community development. I'll get it, I'm sure, before the program finishes. But the fact is, you put it there in order to be able to handpick and choose your people to give them bursaries and scholarships. And the thing about the PNM is this, that when they do that, they then find work for them in the system, in the public system. So we have a lot of mediocres inside of there who are wielding very significant positions, and their job only is to make sure that people with party card benefit from the largesse or the monies that would have been invested in the 11, 12 or so ministries that the government would administer for good governance or good management of Trinidad and Tobago. That is wrong. That is bad. Because don't matter what you do, a country that promotes mediocrity could never advance. And that is why the crime, the criminality was so rampant and so monolithic, so huge under the PNM. And that is why Rowley could have gone to the President House and pull back, and caused to pull back a short list that included Gary Griffith. Wrong and illegal. And the PSA, the Police Service Commission, had to resign as a result of allowing themselves, exposed as it was by some whistleblower, that they had no choice but to resign. Because Rowley went and tried to influence that Gary Griffith will never see the day again in the office of commissioner, when he, Rowley, intervened in the short list. And after that, it was never to be found, that short list. Because he didn't want Gary Griffith, in other words, to be the commissioner again on merit. He would have had a difficulty in doing so. And don't study the hogwash that he spoke about, but there was no need. If I wanted to do it, I could have just dismissed it, let the process go through, and then afterwards he then said it was he who made the illegal intervention. Just making that point. We have seen them, of course, why the UNC would put their own people as well in state enterprises, but the administration of these enterprises is the test, is the proof of the pudding. I remember between 2010 and 2015, the UNC was called the box drain government, and that tells me that people at the grassroots level, these contracts were reaching them. I have no doubt in my mind that it will happen in this iteration, but of course it's early days, and we have heard, of course, of a rehabilitation or redevelopment plan for the country already announced. And thousands of jobs will then be available, not yet fully rolled out, because, of course, there has to be planning, there have to be systematic unrolling, and, of course, a strategic plan to make certain that you deliver. Of course, they have limited time. So I expect, consequential of the next budget, things will start to move speedily and quickly, but across the board for everyone, as opposed to the PNM, who handpick and make sure that it's people who hold in party card that will benefit from the largesse of the state. I thought I should say that. But let me get to Kamala Prasad-Bissasa's statement. The Prime Minister, Kamala Prasad-Bissasa, yesterday criticized the protesters, saying she had no time for victim gimmickry. She criticized those who turned out in Port of Spain to protest the police issuing warrants for the arrest of Kea Sili, describing their actions as publicity farming and an attempt to provoke the police. Publicity farming. And you had to say that, and she had no choice but to say it, because you have people like Abdullah. Abdullah should know. He's the political leader of a party. He has always been on the wrong side. I'd never see a man always on the wrong side all the time. Protester against the Americans, protester for Cuba, and so on and so forth. And nothing you could do to the Americans to stop the Cubans from feeling the wrath of the juggernaut and what I consider to be the hegemonic nature of the U.S. Let's not waste time. They see the Western Hemisphere as their backyard. The Monroe Doctrine says so. What you fighting? But persons like those who are looking for fame in the process, well, They got it. Incidentally, of course, we are reaching close to 9:30. So if you have to make a call, you make it now. I will pause, but let me continue. She asks where the protesters were when more than 5,000 people had been murdered. Let's go straight to the line. A pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
A pleasant good night to you, Uncle Lennox. I take care of you before you leave to go to bed.
Yes.
Yeah. Two things I want to settle.
Go ahead.
For them social media fanatic who don't have the information right. Because the Siparia protest against Victor Roberts, when they gather, is on the side of the police station, on the side of the police station by Irwin Park. There is a space between the police station and the savannah. The police station, then the corporation office. We'll walk from the Irwin Park, past the police station, enter the compound of the regional corporation, and start to say Victor was that must go. We was in public place, right? So disrupt traffic or any other building, not even the courthouse was disrupted, right? Because it was more behind the police station, on the compound of the regional corporation who know the place, right? So now I want to put that on the record. Those people in Port of Spain, they know, and penalty because of them know. There is building. You cannot go within 500 meters on a good day, much less on a day to protest. You have to stay away. Because those are deep, high profile, national security buildings. Right? Why it is? The set of people that don't get touched on. Why the family and nobody get on protest? Because you know why? When they go down there, they will stay down there. Because they don't have bombs. And David Abdullah, I like him, you know. The Petrotrain casual workers, the Petrotrain retirees who get sent home by SPB and Rowley and Short Young. He is talking about their pension plan and the medical plan to get back. But the government spent $10 million to upgrade the Augustus Long Hospital for a radiation center for Mark Lukman cancer treatment. But David Abdullah, just like the PNM, and you can see everything they fight for is on the criminal side. It's not for the average citizen. So, Uncle Lennox, I feel you have to make some holy water, and all of you have to hold our prayers and a bagwat to bless that water to throw it over Lavantilla. Because the PNM just keep misleading the poor citizen. But what I like about it, you just tell them plain in the face that here what's going on. If that water field is happiness, when it had CPEP and European forestry running, and all they could then go to the grocery, and all they didn't have enough money to sell all the children to school. No, all the hungry and starving. But you see, when the family and the young people get killed in Ariba, the whole family get wiped out. It's collateral damage. And all kind of Nancy story for the PNM. But anyway, we will govern by the rules and the law of the land. Good night, Uncle Lennox, and tomorrow, peace God.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, of course, for that. I only want to say, the logic I will apply is one of a supposition nature. Suppose suppose Victor Roberts was in the office of the DPP. Just switch it, that's all. And the DPP was somewhere in Pinal where that incident would have taken place. Would the outcome be the same? I submit to you, yes. The outcome would have been the same in the circumstance, even in or outside of our SOE. The outcome would have been the same. Why? Because the geographic and spatial reality, the spread, is one where it is more than likely that nobody would want to interfere, including the police, in a protest that is in such what I consider to be a rural community. There's very little interest. But certainly in Port of Spain, the capital city, and targeting a very significant office, the office of the DPP, it must attract that kind of response. And if the DPP's office was in Pinal, where Victor Roberts' office was, the likelihood that very little attention would have been paid to that I submit, is real. So it's the spatial and the geographic differential, in my view, and the importance of the building, if you want to call it that, or the office that would have been attacked or would have been targeted for criticism. Victor Roberts is an alderman. Right? Some may say, who cares? Right? But then, he's an alderman in a rural community, if you want to call that, compared to Port of Spain. And therefore, in such circumstance, greater attention will be placed in as far as the office of the DPP is concerned, as opposed to the office of alderman. Very, very common sense. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to see that. Of course, there are those who are saying, well, you know, you attack Port of Spain, but you attack there, and so on and so forth. That is, to me, irrelevant. You have to be pragmatic and practical. But let's continue with the Prime Minister's address. Of course, we reached as far as the Prime Minister's support for law enforcement was reinforced, as she also suggested words for protesters to chant in the future. So these are the words you should chant in the future, she says. Hands up. Don't shoot at the police. I recommend that they also shout that. Hands up. Don't shoot at the police. So, of course, in that particular incident, there was a shooting claim. Hands were up, but there was a shooting claim. So you had the hands up, and they had to don't shoot. Right? So she was, you could say that she was probably trifling. She was probably making a mockery. But, I mean, coming from the Prime Minister, you don't take it serious. So she's saying to those persons who are engaged, hands up, and don't shoot at the police, because you may well get return fire that will cause your demise. That is what she's saying there. Prasad Bisesa said the people were free to protest and even mash up the place if they wish, but warned that those who do so will face the consequences of the law. Very stern warning indeed. 5,000 plus people have been murdered in the past 10 years, but we never saw these grifters A grifter is a opportunist. These grifters are protesting against the gangs and telling these grifters. Let me make sure I lost it there. Against the gangs and telling the violent criminals, hands up, don't shoot. This country is a lawless dump because too many law-abiding citizens were fearful to call out and out the ongoing lawlessness, and the adults who condone and encourage it, said Prasad Bisesa, said Kamala Prasad Bisesa during a telephone interview. Of course, you cannot put the social workers for Christ in that category. They have decided to do something. And of course, the calling out and put down the gun and so on, all of that will certainly be reflected in the prayers and what I consider to be I wouldn't call it a pilgrimage, but certainly a crusade for addressing crime and criminality as an anti-crime initiative. All right, so let me just read one more paragraph because we are fast reaching. Yeah, we have reached 9:33, so 3 minutes past 9:30, and I think I started about 10 minutes late. So let me just give you back that by reading. She said Trinidad and Tobago had become a criminal state under the People's National Movement, and that it would not continue. I am seeing many communities now taking a stance against criminals. So again, MLIO, in conjunction with, in association with, or accommodating in order to reach that area, that threshold of reducing and eliminating the crime scourge. And surge, crime scourge and the crime surge or increase. So taking a stance against criminals, the country wants safety, and my government, along with the men and women in law enforcement, will do whatever it takes to bring back that safety, she said. Very powerful statement coming from the Prime Minister. So she has gone past any kind of frivolous statement that you may see. Frivolity, I was trying to get frivolity earlier, but this is she has gotten serious. On Tuesday, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service noted that a planned protest scheduled for yesterday outside the office of the Director of Public Prosecution in Port of Spain in support of Kia Sealy had not been authorized, and warned that any unauthorized gathering during the state of emergency would be treated as a breach of emergency regulations. Of course, they breached, they did not get the authorization, they went, and of course, I think several persons were in fact detained by the police, and the crowd at least were made to disperse or to stand several meters away from the office of the DPP on Richmond Street. That's the information coming. Let me just read this final paragraph. The protest forms part of the ongoing 19 Bullet 19 protest campaign being led by friends and supporters of Sealy and her common law husband, Joshua Samaru, who was shot by police on January 20th following a chase. I'll stop there. So there are more protests to come. I don't know what number that last one was, but it certainly wasn't 19. So they would find ways and means, and nothing wrong if you are genuine. Something is wrong, however, if you are a political opportunistic parasite. a political vulture, a political kobo that, of course, will be riding and picking on the political carcass of a legitimate cause by persons who feel that they were wrong or that the situation ought to be different, and therefore that outcry was organized. And nothing wrong with that. We are a democracy, but we have to be reminded that it is a state of emergency. But we were also told that protests will be tolerated, elections will go ahead, people can gather. So let's see how that pans out. So I thought I should bring that to the forefront of the statement made by the Prime Minister. On the one hand, when she made a generic statement, so that's the second one, she talked about the fact that there must be support for the police because they are the ones that stand in the gap for peace and security and orderly management of the society. And then, of course, the other one was to deal with the protesters themselves because of certain political opportunists showed themselves very vivid, conspicuous in the whole process. And she responded both politically as a politician and as Prime Minister. Have a wonderful rest of the night. God bless. And see you tomorrow morning on the Ground Report. Andy and myself, 91.1 from 6 in the morning. 91.1 TTT, yes, from 6 in the morning to 9 o'clock. And then, of course, tomorrow night, no corridor transformation. I will be, of course, taking my usual sabbatical, right? So I'll see you Monday night. And let's hope that Joshua's program starts on time, 5:30. That is the youth corner that he will be hosting. Of course, I will be there with him to give him some guidance and so on because he's only 10 years of age, people. And then we'll see how things pans out from there. I want to, of course, thank once again and commend the social workers for Christ and their initiative. I will be an active part. I will be playing, of course, the role of promoting, as well as I expect that I may well be playing a master of ceremony role in that venture as well, or a moderator, if you want to call it that, in that exercise, because it will be a lot. It will start here in Port of Spain, here on George Street and Prince Street, and will then travel to the promenade, and then up the east-west corridor, San Juan, up to, I believe, Arima, and then back down west to Diego Martin. So it will complete, I believe, in September. So it's a long haul, but it will occur only on a Friday, for obvious reasons, much of which we will tell you, and of course we have some videos to promote the exercise, and I trust that you will tell a friend and of course make the exercise, the venture, a success, because all of us will benefit from it. Have a wonderful one once again. God bless and see you tomorrow. Let's hear King Austin again.
Today, when I look around in the world, what do I see? I see footprints that man have left on the sand while walking through time. I see fruits of our ambition, figment of our imagination, and I ask myself, when will it end? When will it end? It is plain to see, universally this land is not bountiful as it was, simply because in his quest for success, nothing stands in man's way. All rivers run dry, Soon the birds will fly, the mountains will be no longer high. And when I really think of it, I just wonder why.
Trinidad is my land, and of it I am proud and glad. But I can't understand why some people just talk it bad. But I know all of them we running them out. Don't know where they're talking about. They will paint you black every day, and the right things they will never say. Like our sportsmen being rated among the best. Our scholars have sit and passed every test and put us right alongside the rest. But then our pitch lake is the greatest one of its kind. Our sugar and oil is really refined. So you see, friends, this is a real thing Solomon's mind. They just talk some nonsense. Me ain't know where they're doing it for. About so much violence, man, you would swear that we fighting war. Of course, we have we delinquents to face. But just like any other place, look, things that I say about here is really too much for me to bear. Because my people are daily making progress without any form of stupidness. And in this way we must gain success. For when we move in, we all move as one body. No bickering between you and me. For our policy stands for racial equality. Now when a stranger spending a little time in this lovely isle, every day you see him, he always have a hearty smile. When his time is up to depart, he would say with pride in heart, I'll be back, you could bet your life. And if I can't come, I will send my wife. And then he'll tell you, he really wants her to come, to drink some rum and have plenty fun in this great island in the sun. For Trinidadian, as foreigners to recall, it doesn't matter whether big or small, or if you're rich or poor, friends, we cater for one and all. So all of them we're talking, they either drunk or they're steering mad, or maybe they forgetting Mr. Universe belongs to Trinidad. And yet we have men of talent and skill, with high hopes of improving still. And if you think all this is a lie, the mighty sniper won't tell you why. Now our steel bands